that friggin' dog again. Anyway, hello. Oh, interrupted again. And there's something written here.
It seems to be about the prisoner in this cell.
Prisoner number D258. Classification Captivus Curious. Ugh. Clear my throat, but I can't. Email it. 1 second. Blech. You may look fearsome, but this lively fellow is actually a sweet-natured herbivore. He even has a pet penguin named Gwynny. He's skilled at giving such real gripping testimony, he'll swear you were there at the crime scene too. The end.
That's the kind of thing you expect to read in a zoo, not a prison. About the person who found the body. Do you happen to know where he is right now? Should be in one of the workshops, I guess. Usually is at this hour. And it seems the workshops are our next port of call. It's a mini pig, I believe. Though not for eating, I hope.
Isn't this great, Mr. Edgeworth? Like being at the zoo.
Except it's the humans, not the animals, who live in captivity here.
No one would mind if I took one home with me, would they?
If by home you mean behind bars, then no, I suppose not.
That's the same as...
Mostly.
Look, Mr. Edgeworth, it's a monkey mountain.
Not something I ever expected to see in a prison.
Doesn't it look like fun?
Not in the least. While we're on the subject, you are not under any circumstances to climb on that structure. Do I make myself clear?
But I have to show the monkey who's boss.
Please, Kay, you really don't. This bench has seen better days. It's covered in rust.
Yeah, only cats were there take a nap on there, and maybe Gummy.
I feel you may be right. I wonder where this door leads.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting some real strong vibes coming from there. Maybe that's where they keep the super duper dangerous prisoners?
That's certainly a real possibility. In which case we'd better turn back while we still can.
Wait, I was only kidding, you know.
Why is there a rabbit just... I nearly tripped over it.
That's great being a zoo, humans.
Need to repeat that every time. This looks like the way to the prison yard. Sadly, the shutter is locked tight.
Freedom awaits on just the other side. A stoic lock and key twist. Mine eyes and nose, and the outdoor breeze. Such cruel fate it is indeed. The more I think on it, the more it eats at me.
And whose thoughts are you attempting to channel exactly with that soliloquy? It's a basin for drinking from.
Makes it a little hard to reach. We need to come up with a more user-friendly design.
Or perhaps it's for the animals. Did you ever think of that, Kay? Do you have a moment? We have a few questions for you. Oh, who's a good girl?
Wow, you're just perfect. She really is. She's beautiful.
Meow! He's finally noticed me, I think. I was wondering...
What's her name?
It's Waggy Man. He's my little friend. Yes, right. As you were then. What I need are answers, not clawful puns.
really.
I can see the crime scene through the window in this door.
Mr. Redruth, you can't just shove your whole face in front of a window like that. You have to do it more sneaky-like. Steal a few good looks while keeping a lookout for your enemies.
I'm not a criminal, Kay. But why should I have to behave like one?
Yeesh, I was just trying to teach you my special sneak peek technique.
I have no need for any such technique, thank you very much.
Hello? Anybody in there?
Nice try, kiddo. But this isn't a bathroom stall. Yo, you there. Could you help us out here, my good man? Yes, sir. What can I do for you? Somebody using this workshop right now? Yes, sir. One of the prisoners is in there. Just confirmed it myself during the noontime roll call. I'd like to speak to this prisoner if that's alright. Sure, I'll go fetch him right now. Won't take a sec. This one's all yours, Milesy boy. What? Why? Let's just say I'd rather not roll the dice on someone I don't know yet.
I thought adults were all supposed to be strong and brave.
Well, you're not looking so brave yourself right now, so let's call it even. Here they come. Ugh, saw it. Hello, yes, hello. I hear you wish to speak with me. Not exactly the hardened criminal we were expecting, is he? My name is Miles Edgeworth. I'm a public prosecutor. A prosecutor, you say? A defender, attorney at law. What happened to being too scared to handle this? Listen, sorry about my pal here. He gets the weirdest ideas. Prosecutor indeed, that'll be the day. He's actually just an associate. Geez, Miles, get a grip, will you? Oh, he's right. I mustn't forget that I'm a defense attorney's assistant for the time being.
That explains it. I did think you looked a little different from the prosecutor I spoke with yesterday.
So he's already spoken to Winner. Would you mind answering a few questions?
No, of course not. I'd be delighted. The name's Sorit. Frank Sorit.
Well, the witness is all yours, my young associate. Shall I have the intern? Sure, have the intern do everything. Why not? Mr. Sorit, you are no doubt aware that a murder took place yesterday. Would you mind telling us where you were at the time the body was found?
Yes, I was in that workshop there, working as one might expect.
What kind of work were you doing?
Well, I'm actually retraining at the moment. I'm hoping to become a stylist, you see. A pet stylist, that's it, that is. Yes, so I've been studying hard and practicing every moment I can.
An unusual field of study befitting an unusual prison, I suppose.
That's it. I certainly didn't see anything.
Interesting. I barely asked him anything at all, and he's already sweating bullets.
So, yeah, I'm afraid I won't be able to help you. Sorry.
Hold it!
No, I'm the one who's sorry, Mr. Sorit, for this interview has only just begun.
I mean, even if you want to ask me,
You know something, don't you?
That's...
He's definitely hiding something. I'll need to push him a little harder if I'm to get any answers.
Yep, another chess session.
The first step is to analyze the situation. Let's take a look at our opponent. I didn't see anything. I really can't help you, I'm afraid. Something tells me he'd be a good poker player. It's hard to tell much at all from his face. I don't think he'll be giving me much in the way of physical clues either. I'll have to rely solely on his words instead. That's the only way I'll know what's going on underneath. Alright, time to make my first move. Let's see who we're dealing with here. He may be good at hiding his emotions, but everyone has a tell. Tell me, what's your connection to the incident? Which incident? The murder? Well, it has nothing to do with... all to do with me. Nothing. Really? I wouldn't dream of getting involved in anything as ghastly as that. Well, you see, how can I put this? Well, I like to think of myself as an upstanding citizen, a good person, if you will. Forgive me, Mr. Soret, but under normal circumstances, good people do not tend to end up in prison. That's... So you do well to tell me what you know about the incident. How many times do I have to tell you people? I don't know anything, I swear. Surely you've noticed, Mr. Soret, that I have you exactly where I want you. Ugh. Really? Seems to me you're just wasting my time. Should have picked my words more wisely. Apparently. Blah 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 blah. Fucking hate this. If you don't have anything to ask me, you need to be going. Perhaps a little more proactivity is called for. What the... Did I fuck up? Yeah. On that step. Sorry, I don't know what more to say, but I can't help you. My apologies, Mr. Soret. But considering that the incident occurred right here in the prison, I find it very hard to believe that you know nothing at all. Oh, well, yes. I suppose I can see how it might seem unlikely, but it's true. You're looking for the person who found the body. I'll have to look elsewhere. Why do you think I'm looking for the person who found the body? I certainly never mentioned any such thing to you. Is it because you do know something you're not telling me after all? No, just since that's who you might be looking for, that's all. I'm simply a pet stylist in training. I don't know anything, truly. There's no doubt about it now. This man is hiding something big. In which case, let's find out what he did yesterday, the day of the incident. My opponent is very good at hiding his true feelings, but not for long. It's time to smash that mask of his and see what lurks behind that phony smile. Tell me about the day of the incident. If you really don't have anything to do with the murder, then you have nothing to hide, right? Well, the day of the incident... Gosh, I mean, so much happened. What was it like here in the prison yesterday morning? I really don't remember. I don't have the best memory, I'm afraid. I don't have a clue as to how to push this conversation forward. I'll have to try another tack. Fucking hate this. I want to know what you were doing, Mr. Soret, in detail. I told you, I'm a pet stylist in training. And that's what I was doing yesterday. Training. Specifically, I was giving the animals a trim. You didn't notice any commotion at the time of the incident? I would imagine things were suddenly quite tumultuous around here. There. Well, commotion, you say? No, not really. Maybe I heard someone, but... You heard someone? Was this someone screaming by any chance? And don't try to tell me you don't remember. You continue to assert that you know nothing about the incident, Mr. Sawyer, but I'm afraid I don't believe a word of it. Yeah. No, I thought I heard someone yelling, but I don't really remember. The fact that he heard a scream at the time of the murder may well prove to be a useful clue. I would do well to bear it in mind. Blah 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 blah, all this again. Time to deploy my clue. You don't remember? Please. You literally just confirmed that you heard a scream. Oh, but I might have been mistaken. The truth is, I really don't remember. Your memory fails you yet again. How convenient. But I know you're lying, Mr. Sword. How dare you talk to me like... I mean, I'm not lying. Look, if you must know, when I'm working with the animals and I get into the zone, then all I see. Am I to understand you have something of a talent for animal grooming then? Well, my scissor technique could use a little work, but I'd say I'm quite good with the animals. They seem to like me. I'm especially good at calming them down when they get scared. Scared? And when exactly do they get scared? Surely it doesn't happen very often. Well, that's... no. Thankfully it doesn't. A loud scream would certainly frighten the animals, wouldn't it? Why are you going to such lengths to deny having heard the scream? What is it you're hiding, Mr. Sawyer? Tell me. I can assure you, I'm not hiding anything. I'll admit, I did really hear somebody scream, but I'm not hiding anything, I promise. The mask is finally beginning to crack. Now to shatter it completely by asking about the scream itself in more detail. I'm afraid you're about to learn a painful lesson, Mr. Sawyer. That hiding things from me never ends well for my opponent. Who did you hear screaming? Wait, I just realized I made a mistake. When the incident happened, I was out in the yard. Yes. So I didn't hear anyone screaming. No one at all. I don't have a clue as to how to push the conversation forward. I'll have to try another tack. When did you hear this scream? Oh wait, now I remember. Forgot about the show. They put on a show for us prisoners around the time of the incident, you see? Yes, but performing animals, if I remember rightly. That's where I was in the morning. And now you wish to claim that you didn't hear a scream because you were at the show. You do realize that goes completely against everything you've told me so far. What are you gonna do about it, huh? That is, my memory is patchy, as they say. The animal show really had to be seen to be believed. And did it? Tell me, what kind of animals did you see? Let me think. A whale? Enough of your lies. You were nowhere near the show, were you? Well, I seem to remember being there, but maybe I was? Maybe I wasn't? It's clear Mr. Sword wasn't at the show. This feels like a vital clue. Time to deploy my clue. How long are you planning to keep up these lies? I already know that you weren't at the show.
Yeah.
The game's up, Mr. Sorit. It's high time you told me the truth. I demand to know about this scream now. Can't tell you what I don't know. I didn't hear any scream. Not from the person who found the body. How curious. Most people would assume that the scream had come from the victim. So then, why do you think it came from the person who found the body, hmm? I made a mistake. That's all. How, Mr. Sorit? How did you know that it was the person that found the body who screamed? It's... Shall I tell you? You knew because it was you who found the body. And the scream that was heard when the incident occurred didn't come from the victim. It came from you. How did you... It's true, I admit it, but what gives you the right to treat people like this? Checkmate. Now that we've established that you were the one who found the body, Mr. Sorit, I believe you have lost any standing you might have had to withhold your cooperation. Alright, you win. But I'm sure I won't have anything useful to tell you. Probably isn't even worth your time. That's not for you to decide. By my hand, the truth will be revealed. Every decision I make is to ensure that end.
Except that's not exactly what we're here to do, is it?
What do you mean?
We're not trying to expose the truth. We're trying to save Simeon. That's what we do now, remember? We work to get our client out of trouble. Not as a prosecutor, but as a defense attorney's assistant.
What the K-Master said. You need to listen to the kid more, you know. Client has requested the services of Edgeworth & Co. And as your old man always said, your relationship with your client comes before everything else. So if you think Mr. Saint's well-being is taking a backseat to some quest for truth, well, let's just say I don't like to fire people, so I need you to fight against your instincts a little harder, yeah? This will take some getting used to. In any case, the importance of this man's testimony remains unchanged. Therefore, Mr. Sorit, I'm asking you once more, what happened when you found the body? I was in that workshop there by myself, practicing what I'd learned. I don't remember how, but I found myself in front of the door to the other workshop. I happened to peek in through the little window. Then I saw him lying there, man, not moving, dead. Quailed in fright and found myself screaming in sheer terror. Let me get this straight. The room you're in is next to the one where the corpse was found. Yes, that's right. I was in Workshop B. And you were there the whole day? Yes, from the 7 AM roll call onwards. There are 3 roll calls a day, you see. 7 AM, noon and 9 PM. And they check who's in the workshops during roll call, correct? That's right. Nothing was reported to be amiss at 7 AM. Which means that Knight's body wasn't in the workshop yet at that point in time. Guess that means the murder took place after 7 AM.
Which puts it right around the time the show was happening.
Ah yes, the show. I remember the other prisoners going to see it. And therefore anybody who wasn't at the show has no alibi. Would that be a fair assessment, Mr. Sorit? Yeah, I guess so. But I only found the body, I swear. There's a clear contradiction in Mr. Sorit's testimony. Rooting it out should be my first priority. What exactly were you practicing? How to be a pet stylist, of course. I'm a mortal prisoner after all. So he keeps saying.
Hold it!
You found yourself there? Really? That's right. And then I found myself peeking through the little window in the door. Why did you think to do that? Gosh, I don't know. I just found myself doing it, really. You clearly weren't concentrating on your work then. No, it's not true. I'm a model prisoner. It's just the other prisoners had gone to watch the show. Guess I was, well, kinda lonely.
Like being stuck at school after everybody else has gone home, huh?
Yes, exactly like that. Anyway, I found myself in front of the door to the other workshop and...
Hold it!
Does that mean you didn't get a good look inside? No, I couldn't. The window was not only small, but it had bars over it, you see. Not exactly a panoramic view.
They're just so the guards can check what's going on, right?
That's right, yes. You're a very knowledgeable young lady.
You bet. I guess you could say I know a little something about prisons now, too.
I'll have to remind myself to address this newfound interest later. Anyway, yes, I peeked in through the little window in the workshop door.
Hold it!
Could you tell right away if it was a man or a woman? It was clearly a man. His physique, his clothes. Also very clear that he was dead. You could tell just by peeking through the little window. Look, let's just say this wasn't my first dead body.
Huh? What? You mean you're in prison for...
To my eternal shame, yes. It was, however, the first time I had seen another person's handiwork up close, so...
Hold it!
Do you recall how exactly you screamed? Any words you might have used? Oh, I only remember that I screamed. Folks don't tend to remember much when they're busy crying out in terror miles. Exactly. So yes, I screamed. That's all I remember. He presents himself as an innocent bystander, but nothing could be further from the truth. Given what he is, things couldn't have happened as he claims. The contradiction in his testimony is as clear as day. I just need to present the evidence that proves it. Prisoner's not allowed to move around freely. Is it this one?
Objection!
Enough of these pathetic lies, Mr. Sorit. I'm afraid you've rather lost sight of what you are. What I am? I know precisely what I am. I'm a former newspaper salesman who's training to be a pet stylist.
Hold it!
But that's not all you are, is it? Or did you forget the bracelet you wear around your wrist? A bracelet that marks you as a prisoner, and therefore unable to move around as you please. As we both know, stepping outside that door would have sounded an alarm. Well, that's... Hi there, Rosie. But there's no more... But there's no way you could have looked into the other workshop without leaving the room we were in. Ooh-wee. Stylishly done, Edgeroo.
Doesn't that mean that Mr. Sorit couldn't have found the body then?
Good question, Kay. Perhaps Mr. Sorit himself can explain. It's... I'm... So actually I may have forgotten to mention one very important detail. Sorry about that. Can I explain exactly how I was able to see the body if you like? By all means, go ahead. There's a little trick we prisoners know about, you see. As long as you leave your bracelet inside the door, you can lean out without triggering the alarm. That's how I was able to peek through the window and into the workshop next door. Inside I spotted the victim's dead body, which made me scream in fright. So he's saying he was able to take a look next door because he had kept his arm inside workshop B as he leaned out. Please don't tell anyone about our little trick, especially not the guards. Please. Is this it? Is this all he was hiding? I'd better dig a little deeper into his testimony, just in case.
Hold it!
Tell me some more about this trick, Mr. Sorret. Of course. Quite simple, really. As long as you leave your bracelet inside the door, you can lean out without triggering the alarm.
Hold it!
I suppose this allows you to enjoy a little taste of freedom. It does. To be honest, it's one of the few things that brings me joy anymore. A rather surprising source of joy. But rule breaking isn't exactly a demonstration of remorsefulness, is it? Oh, but I am remorseful. I always am. I'm a model prisoner after all. I'm beginning to suspect that he doesn't know what a model prisoner actually is. So he used this trick to peek through the window. That's right, yes. He made sure the guard wasn't looking and leaned out into the corridor.
Hold it!
Why did you make so much of an effort just to take a look? Well, you see, I heard noises coming from next door. That room was supposed to be empty, so I thought it was strange. And you went to look as soon as you heard those noises? Yes, of course. I had to see what was going on, so I went right away. I see. Are there any problems with what Mr. Sora just said? I mean... sure? You claim that you looked into the next room as soon as you heard some noises. If that's the case, you must have seen more than just a dead body. Because the person who made the noise should have been in there too.
Oh, that's... You got him quaking in his boots, Mr. Edgeworth.
Mr. Sorret, tell us the truth about what you saw. You do, of course, have the right to remain silent. But it will do little to dispel the notion that you were somehow involved in this crime. I'm sorry. I did see something else, but it's too insane to believe. Really thought I might have dreamt it. That's why I wasn't sure if I should mention it. Just tell us what you saw. Alright. It was that dog. And what I saw is the stuff of nightmares. Huge black dog. It sunk his terrible teeth into the victim's throat. What did you just say? It was hellish. Utterly hellish. That beast. That awful beast. He killed him.
Only I don't feel so good.
Jeepers creepers. That's awful. Talk about traumatizing. It was dreadful. Horrible. And you know why I couldn't help but scream? So there's a man-eating dog in the prison's animal population, is there?
And that really is everything. I promise.
You believe me, don't you? Well now, this one seems too far-fetched to lie even for you. I'd like you to append what you just told us to your testimony, if you don't mind. Very well. Inside I spotted the victim's dead body, which made me scream in fright.
Hold it!
How much do you remember about the man you saw? Oh, I remember everything. Let's see. He had blonde hair and his neck was covered in blood because he was dead. Yes, we know that, Mr. Sword. Thank you very much. I'm just telling you what I saw. I thought you attorneys were obsessed with the little details. There's some serious venom behind those words. Something tells me he may not have had the best experience with defense attorneys in the past. You also saw that black dog, his mouth clamped tight around the man's throat.
Hold it!
You're sure this black dog was biting the victim's throat? Yes, there was blood everywhere. The beast's mouth was dripping with it and... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Spare us the gory details, will ya? What about the victim? Was he...
Eek. Don't say it, don't say it. Do you really need to ask him that, Mr. Edgeworth?
Okay. What was that punch for? I'm on your side here. He wasn't moving at all. He was just lying there. Meaning he was already dead. And there was so much blood just oozing from his neck. He was as dead as a doornail. I'm sure of that. Not even the twitch of a finger. Just lifeless. Enough already. Why did you have to go into every little detail like that? Give you a nice and accurate testimony. This is what you want, isn't it? Shall I add I've said to my testimony, Mr. Edgeworth? Please do. It was awful, I tell you. Terrible. Adding more. Oh, he was as dead as a doornail. I'm sure of that. Not even the twitch of a finger. Just lifeless.
Hold it!
You paint a very vivid picture. When I had a front row seat, I suppose. It would almost feel the agony of the poor man's final moments.
I don't think I'll be getting any sleep tonight, Mr. Edgeworth.
You won't? Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's all your fault for pressing him for more gory details.
I'll be having nightmares tonight myself. It's all still so fresh in my memory. I remember seeing his ring gleaming as it caught the light. It featured a snowflake motif in relief. Oh, you have made a mistake, saw it.
Hold it!
A snowflake motif in relief. You seem to have a very clear memory of this ring, Mr. Sawrit. When I used to go door to door selling newspaper subscriptions, you see, I had to take people in at a glance, their appearance, their mood, that sort of thing. Figuring out who exactly you're dealing with is the first step in any sale. Except in this case, you will figure out a corpse. What can I say? Force of habit. One that served me very well in my sales career, if I do say so myself. Even so, you seem to have remembered things to an uncanny level of detail. I suppose. Nevertheless, it's true. I remember the ring, relief, all of it. Is what he's saying even plausible, though? Perhaps I should take another look at the conditions of the victim's body as we found it. Know what I saw, Mr. Edgeworth? My eyes don't lie. So, Knight was bitten in the throat by a dog that lives here in the prison. Not the most plausible of explanations, I have to say. Well, they do say the pets take after their owners.
There are some things they shouldn't take after, not if they're supposed to help reform their owners. Otherwise, what's the point of having an animal therapy program?
I should probably ask Mr. Sorter a little more detail. Mr. Sorter a little more about this dog. mean, I've already done that, so it doesn't really matter. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Objection!
Okay, fine, not that one. Hey, shut up. No, it was an attempt to say the top was over him at the fucking time, so you couldn't see the damn ring without going into the room. But no, you can't fucking let me just say that, can you? Body then.
Objection!
There it is. A ring with a snowflake relief. Yes, I saw it, clear as day. It was carved in such fine detail. Interesting. Your testimony is certainly very accurate. In fact, I'd say it's just a little too accurate. And what's wrong with being too accurate? I mean this, you testified to having seen a ring with a snowflake design on it. And while the victim did indeed have a ring on his finger. See, exactly as I said. There is no way you could have seen it. Take a look at this photograph. As you can see, the victim's right hand was covered by a tarp. It would have been impossible for you to see his ring, let alone what design was on it. Unless, that is, you approached the body and removed the sheet. You told us earlier you only took a look through the window in the door. Yet you seem to have seen quite a lot from such a disadvantaged location, Mr. Sword. Who the heck do you think you are, huh? Mr. Big Shot, acting like you know it all. I mean, I saw what I saw, I swear. Oh, I know, that man's arm. It must have moved onto the top after I peeked in.
Objection!
Nonsense, you already told us that can't have been the case. He wasn't moving at all, he was just lying there. Meaning he was already dead. You said it yourself that the victim was already dead, and dead men don't move, do they? Ooh, is that the stench of eau de desperation I smell? What are you hiding, Mr. Sword? Tell us. No, You're wrong. I know what I saw. You couldn't let it go, could you? And to keep on poking and prodding. You slimy two-bit associate attorney. Seems the real Mr. Sword has finally revealed himself. Whoa, that's quite the rug he was rocking. Came straight at you like some kind of flying black head. Look, I'm just a sweet, innocent witness here. But are you really? Because I must say I have doubts. Very serious doubts. What's that supposed to mean? You saw something that should have been impossible to see from outside the workshop. So how did you do it? That's simple. Mr. Sword, this is where you were standing when you saw the body.
Take that!
You were in the same room as the body. That's the only way you could have seen the relief on the ring. Say what you want, but you don't have a shred of evidence, do you? Nothing to prove I was in the room with the body anyway. You can't prove it, can you? Because I was in the next room over. Minding my own business and looking after the animals. Why else would I have been signed up? Where else would I have signed out a pair of rubber gloves? For fun. Now put up or shut up. I want to see evidence that proves I was in the room with that body. Rubber glove?
Take that!
Remind me, Mr. Sawit, what were you doing when you discovered the body? How many times do I was practicing my pet styling techniques? Of course. Then perhaps this rubber glove might mean something to you. That's... This glove was found by the victim's body. I believe it was dropped by the killer. And I can't help but notice that you have a similar glove tucked into your apron. No, this one's different.
Hold it!
Yes, that one does seem awfully lonely, doesn't it? It's just a rubber glove. There are hundreds of them all over the prison. This doesn't prove anything.
Objection!
Not yet, perhaps. But if I were to ask the police to check the glove for prints, I have a feeling the results will be rather fascinating. It's over.
Objection!
What the? That was a pretty rad objection, am I right? Please, Fender, now is not the time for tomfoolery. But I have a legit objection, because this isn't over. There's something that still doesn't make sense. Our man here is a prisoner, right? He's got one of those bracelet doohickeys on.
That's true. So, how could he have left his workshop in the first place? His bracelet would have triggered the alarm if he tried.
Right, we don't have a good explanation for that yet. Well, anything you'd like to share, good buddy? We're all friends here. That's weird. Should be clinging onto that bracelet like the big round lifesaver it is.
In what way?
As in, it's the best hope our work-fleeing friend here has for getting off the hook for murder. Sorry, can't get into the crime scene with a bracelet on. If it was me, I'd be arguing that for my life. And yet he hasn't said a peep about it. Wonder why that might be, The sound of silence, I suppose. Miss Law Priestess did preach that silence is golden yesterday, too.
Whoa, you sounded like an actual attorney for a second there, Mr. Fender.
The worst of times are when lawyers calmly show our biggest smile. Gregory taught me that. It was part of the attorney's code he lived by. So, friend, what's the dealio? Why so coy about your bracelet? Well, to tell you the truth, it's broken. Broken. I fell over a little while back, you see, and hit it on the floor. After that, it didn't seem to set the sensors off anymore. I should have told the guards about it, I know, but, well, it was awfully convenient. I see. So your bracelet is broken. Do they really break that easily? If so, then this prison is a serious security problem. You there, could we have a moment?
Aren't you just the cutest?
Meow! How can I help you, sir? This prisoner's bracelet appears to be broken. What? Really? That's not good. I'll get someone to find a replacement right away. Thank you. We'll keep hold of the broken one for the time being. Of course, sir. I trust you'll take good care of it. Sweet. Bracelet sorted. Now to turn our murderer in, yeah? What? No, I didn't kill anybody. Whoa there, Palio. You were the one who said your bracelet was out of commission. Or were there other inmates freely roaming the halls while everybody was busy watching the show? No, I just found the body. That's all, I promise. And when I did, that enormous dog still had his mouth wrapped around the poor man's neck. He only went into the workshop after the beast had left. And why did you go in? Well, oh, fine, I wanted to go through his pockets, okay? He was going to rob the corpse. That explains why he remembers Knight's ring in so much detail.
Hey, why are you looking at me like that? I'm a great thief. I'd never stoop so low as to steal from her.
Well, I didn't steal anything either. The show ended just after I entered the room and all the other inmates came trickling downstairs thereafter. I panicked, rushed back to the other workshop and started my fake screaming. And dropped the glove in your haste, huh? I guess this all just about hangs together. Anything smell funky to you, Miles? Other than whether Mr. Sword is the one who did it, I'd say one very significant question still remains. The question of how Knight made it into the prison proper from his holding cell in the detention center. Oh yeah, that one's a doozy. Was in the freaking office area, obviously. I mean, for fuck's sake. Whatever. Whatever. I also can't help but wonder about another key feature of Mr. Sword's testimony. That dog's involvement can only mean one thing. Mr. Sword.
Yes? What is it?
Were you the only prisoner who didn't go to watch the show? Well, no, there was one other who didn't. Am I right in thinking that this person couldn't have watched the show even if he wanted to?
Yes. How did you...
I knew it. I had my suspicions when we first ran into the black dog yesterday, but this confirms it. For a criminal that dangerous to end up in a place like this is unbelievable, but... Where is this person's cell?
You're going to see... him? Who are we talking about here?
Him. It's not like the other prisoners, you know. He's special. He's treated like royalty. But you didn't hear that from me. What I'll say is, if you value your life, you'll stay well away from him.
What? Will you please stop trying to scare us all the time?
The big cheese, huh? Well, I for one definitely value my life, so that sucks. They keep him in maximum security. Which is over there. Maximum security. Well, that's certainly one way of treating someone differently.
Alright, quit being so mysterious and tell us who he is already.
Let's just say he's highly skilled when it comes to people's lives. Better than anyone, in fact. And that's all I'm prepared to say on the subject. In fact, I have already said too much. Well, Milesy, anything you care to share, or are you going to leave Kay and I in the dark here too? The mysterious man in maximum security is an old acquaintance. Let's go pay him a visit. I suspect we'll find our dark canine friend there too. Not on Carter, is it? Yeah, I can't believe you found out about my bracelet. I was expecting him to show a little more remorse. Oh, well, of course. Very remorseful. Yes. Anyway, Shouldn't you be on your way to maximum security? A word of warning, but I suggest you to be on your best behavior from now on. Of course, I would be stepping out of line again. Needed a reminder from the likes of you. You might also consider using your best words too, Mr. Sorit.
Well, it's black in there. Can't see a thing.
But didn't you say that the Yatagarasu takes flight even in the dead of night or something?
Even in the depths of night, there's no other bird dares to take flight. One of them soars to shine, the light of righteousness on the world's blight. That one is me, friend the great thief, Yatagarasu.
Whoa, you are one powerful performer.
Thanks, but that doesn't help me see in the dark. I'm a human, not a three-legged raven.
Hello, Pika.
Eek.
What? Ah, Mr. Edgeworth. That voice, I knew it. Has been far too long. You remember me? I could hardly forget now, could I, after all? You are the one who put me away.
Mr. Edgeworth, are you talking to that dog?
Or is there somebody else in there? Still can't see a damn good thing. Oh, but I am forgetting myself. Forgive me, I do not often receive visitors. One moment, I will turn on the lights.
Okay.
You are a heavy-footed lot. Am I right in thinking there are 3 of you in all? Very well. Perhaps we should start by introducing ourselves. I am Bodhidharma Canis. As you may have gathered, Mr. Edgeworth and I are old acquaintances. Canis was a notorious assassin. Some knew him as the Blind Butcher. His only weapons were a vicious hunting hound and a fearsomely sharp knife. His appearance was always announced by the sound of bells, the last sound his victims would ever hear. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, am I to guess why you have come to see me? You know why I'm here. In fact, I'm willing to bet you know every detail of this sordid little affair already. And then I suppose we have nothing to hide from one another. Your faithful canine friend is currently the chief suspect in a murder investigation. The person who found the body saw a dog with its mouth around the victim's throat. Your witness is mistaken. Helmut is a gentle soul. He is my eyes, nothing more. It is absurd to think he would do such a thing, isn't it, boy? Yeah, yes it is. You're a good boy, aren't you? Helmut is more than a mere seeing-eye dog, and he's certainly no good boy. He's also a trained killer. A weapon once used in this man's sordid trade. And this witness of yours, he is trustworthy, I assume. Sorit is anything but trustworthy, and he's still very much a suspect himself. I can hardly claim that his testimony is beyond reproach. No, then. I thought as much. Yes, I did, Elmer. Yeah. It figures that he already knew who our witness is. What were you doing between 8 and 10 a.m. yesterday morning, Mr. Canis? During the show, you mean? I was here, ensconced in these humble surroundings. I have developed a passion for wood carving, you see. An obsession, even. I was engrossed in it all morning. And you have permission to engage in such a hobby? I can't believe someone would actually let you. The warden and I have an understanding. An understanding? That's ridiculous. This man shouldn't be allowed one, let alone 5 chisels. And nothing but lethal weapons in his hands. I was carving Buddhist pieces at first, but by the 674th, my interest had begun to wane.
Whoa, that must have taken forever.
Time is all I have, child. In any case, my focus has now shifted to pieces such as these. I didn't know you played chess. You play too, do you not, Prosecutor? Perhaps one day you might indulge me. Though you may find my game rather rudimentary. I only began after my arrival here, I'm afraid. What's that piece? A dog with 3 heads? Ah, yes. The dogs of war. You must forgive my little joke. Chess is, after all, a game of war. Soldiers, knights, castle. All doing their utmost to protect the king, all loyal to the last. I've always thought it strange that such a game has no place for a dog. After all, what more loyal weapon could an army call upon? Still, it's simply a piece I made for fun. Fear not, I play by the regular rules, and the regular pieces. I can't imagine it's easy finding opponents to play here in prison, though. Oh, I have my correspondence. Correspondence chess, then? Sharing moves by post? Yes. Even prisoners are allowed to send and receive letters. Their contents are inspected, of course. Although I have yet to receive the details of my current opponent's next move. Sounds like this current opponent isn't a resident here. I suppose you know the identity of the deceased, Mr. Canis. His name was Bronco Knight, was it not? Poor unfortunate soul. You keep your ear to the ground. My ears are all I have, Mr. Edgeworth. Why am I not surprised that he's plugged into the prison's information network? But perhaps he was not so unfortunate after all. What do you mean? Mr. Knight's crime was a grave one. A crime for which he would have been made to pay dearly anyway. The attempted assassination of a president, and that is no small matter. Attempted assassination?
Wait, Mr. Edgeworth, didn't Mr. Knight...
Yes, we proved that he murdered his team leader, and that there was no attempt on the president's life. Could it be? Are they attempting to cover up President Wang's fake assassination scheme? Whoa there, cowboy. You're saying the broadcaster didn't actually have a pop at the press? I was hired to defend him on the charge of attempted murder.
You mean, you don't know what really happened? Well, they just blamed the whole assassination thing on Mr. Knight?
It would explain why the committee was so keen to get involved.
Of course, they took you off the case to try and keep you away.
And swapped in that winner kid to push through an attempted murder charge.
In other words, they're trying to cover up the truth.
So they really were trying to frame him. According to the guards this night, was it? They tell me he was violently insistent that he had attempted no assassination, which would have come out anyway when the case went to trial. I am no expert in legal matters, but allow me to say this one thing. I know for a certainty that he would not have been the first inmate imprisoned on false pretenses. An uncomfortable fact, but a fact nonetheless. Yes, Helmut, yes it is, yes. The courtroom is not always the bastion of truth you believe it to be, Mr. Edgeworth. No bastion of truth, huh? I've heard something to that effect before. Yes, from a certain Interpol agent who doesn't have much faith in prosecutors. Crap, I can't remember what his voice was. You're not twisting the truth behind those closed courtroom doors too, are you? Fueled by that kind of thinking. Is it any wonder that courts produce nothing but falsities and lies? Sorry, but the truth doesn't need the likes of you to distort it today. I never was able to fully dispel his mistrust of prosecutors. Even Helmut understands, don't you, Helmut? Yes, you do. The truth's revealed in court and your deductions. It is dangerous to trust either implicitly. But I am not bitter. You're not the first to make me a subject of unfounded suspicion in recent days. In fact, I was visited by another prosecutor only yesterday. He was accompanied by a judge. They even dragged the warden along, a distaste for my lingering unspoken in the air.
Not those two again.
Prosecutor Winner and Judge Gavel. They went over my cell with a fine-tooth comb, but they left empty-handed. They were looking for the murder weapon, I believe, to no avail. But I mustn't take it personally. Rumor has it that they searched every cell in the prison, and still failed to find what they were looking for. I pray they weren't too disappointed. Well, that posed more questions than it answered. What do we do now? Soren's testimony is flimsy at best. I'll need more proper evidence if I want to take Canis on. Well, I think that's quite enough chit-chat for one day. Helmut will show you out. Good boy, Helmut. Go on now. He's not showing us out permanently, right?
Let's get out of here. Come on.
Until next time, Mr. Canis. It does pain me that our brief time must end, just as we were becoming reacquainted. I await your return, Mr. Edgeworth.
God damn it, Kay, you were told not to climb up there.
Now to gather the evidence I need to bolster my case.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth.
That's the best hiding spot she could find. It's alright, Kay, you can come down now. Where's Fender?
He ran off somewhere. I had no idea he could move that fast.
Fender.
So, what do we do now?
You and I will continue the investigation, and I know just where to start. We're solving that one particular mystery that's been dogging us this whole time. Knight's body was found in one of the prison workshops, but he was presumably being detained in one of the detention center's holding cells. So how did he wind up on the other side of those heavy security doors? Let's start by investigating the holding cells.
Mr. Knight's room, right? But, what about Mr. Fender?
I'm sure he'll find us when he's ready.
Sure, but he is kind of our boss, isn't he? Oh well.
The victim's cellar is just over there.
Lead the way, Mr. Edgeworth. I've just about had it.
Who's that? Warden the guard. She must have come from the corridor marked no entry. He's still not talking, ma'am. Give me the evidence you borrowed from the precinct.
No. I've tried so many times I've lost count. What am I supposed to do? I can't send in a blank report.
Guess a killer for hire was always going to be a tough nut to crack. A killer for hire.
Oh.
I couldn't help overhearing Warden Lagarde, but were you just talking about... Body... armor... Can't say. We're just talking about body-head armor, Canis.
My, you were listening. How very gosh of you. The girl's privacy is her armor, you know.
Do you normally conduct interrogations of the man yourself?
Oh, it's not just him, darling. I try to have the occasional tete-a-tete with everyone, you see. That's what it means to be a member of the family in this little home of ours. There isn't a person who hasn't made the pilgrimage to my office at least once.
Your office?
How sweet. He's angling for an invite. Well, I suppose it is the hottest ticket in town. It's down this corridor here, darling. But FYI, I don't let just anybody wander in willy-nilly.
Let's see, that will put it right around here.
It's a wonderful room, if I do say so myself. All my guests rave about it. And who wouldn't want a view of my fabulous garden and the yard? Ooh la la. Hey, yard, if it's anything like the rest of the place, it's probably full of adorable animals, right? Can I see? Oh, darling, it's so sweet of you to take an interest, but I'm afraid that's just not possible. Why not? Because you're not a member of our home. If you want to see it that badly, you'll just have to get convicted for doing something unspeakable.
That's a rather steep price to pay.
Oh, but just listening to me chattering away like there's no tomorrow. It's time for Allie's lunchy bunch. The poor dear will be dying.
Ellie?
The sweetest little dear in all the world. I know. I shouldn't have favorites, but you know how it is. Now to the yard with me. Ciao for now, darlings.
I wanted to ask her more about Canis, but she dominated that conversation from start to finish. Let's go investigate the victim's cell, shall we? So, this is Knight's cell.
When do you think he was brought in, Mr. Edgeworth?
It would have had to have been the evening of the 25th, just after the events at the lake. And then at some point he wound up in the prison proper, but how? There must be some evidence here that will point us in the right direction.
Alright, let's get looking, Mr. Edgeworth.
Reflected in the mirror is...
Security camera. The great thief's greatest enemy.
Nothing about this place is very thief-friendly,
Nothing about this place is very thief-friendly, if I'm being honest.
I think that might be entirely deliberate, Kay. Guard? I'd like you to retrieve the footage from this security camera and review it as carefully as you can. If you see anything out of the ordinary, inform me immediately. Yes, sir. Yep, scout the scene.
Hey, look at this weird piece of paper.
There's some sort of grid on it. Let's take a closer look. And the grid appears to be a chess diagram. The victims, I suppose.
What's that chess diagram?
A visual representation of a game of chess. See how the locations of all pieces are marked? And this seems to be a closely fought contest. But perhaps if this pawn were... No, wait.
Not now, Mr. Edgeworth. This is no time to be playing games.
Yes, I suppose you're right. This isn't the first time I've seen this configuration of pieces. It was from a different perspective, but it was definitely the same game. Perhaps it would be wise to take another look at the evidence in my possession.
Eureka!
It was easy. This chess game, I've seen it before.
Enough with the chess chat, Mr. Edgeworth. We're supposed to be investigating here. Focus.
I am investigating. This particular bit of chess chat could prove to be vital. Now, take a look at this. Can you tell me what it is?
It's the chess set we saw in Mr. Canis's cell. But, I don't really know the rules of chess, so...
The rules of the game are not important here. What is important are the positions of the pieces. Compare the ones in Mr. Canis's cell with these. Do you notice anything?
Don't know which piece is which or anything, but... You turn the diagram like this, there are pieces in the same squares.
Indeed. There's no dot on the diagram, but that's to be expected. Apart from that, however, the positions of the pieces are identical.
And what does that tell us?
Oh, I have my correspondence. As unlikely as it may seem, Mr. Canis's chess opponent was...
Mr. Knight?
This could be just the proof we need to show that Mr. Canis had a connection to the victim.
Oh, what's the menu doing here, Mr. Edgeworth?
It seems that those held in the detention center are able to choose what they'd like to eat each day. If they can afford it, that is.
Money makes the world go round, I guess. But doesn't that make life super easy for rich detainees?
Well, okay, bear in mind that the people held in these cells haven't been found guilty yet. Some of them don't deserve to be punished. Quite a few of them, in fact.
So you're saying it's fine that people with money don't have as hard a time of it as everybody else?
Or did I wind up defending the practices of the detention system?
Wow, that's a lot of books. Let's take a look. Your Life Tomorrow, an anthology. Understanding Animal Emotions. Life as a Pet Stylist. Maybe there was more to Mr. Knight than met the eye.
Sadly, I don't think these were his. They were likely specially selected and placed here for the detainees, with the hope that they would want to better themselves during their time here. Second Chance at Life. Interviews with a former prisoner. These books appear to have been written by current moral prisoners and former inmates.
Oh, and like the look of this one. 200 Days to Freedom, an escape story. And this one too. Making money while serving time.
This facility may have more deep-rooted problems than I thought.
But
The bowl is nice and spotless. There are no signs that the toilet paper has been used. Everything seems to be in order with this toilet here.
what? Are you serious?
Why? What's wrong?
There's no door. There's not even a curtain. Whoever designed this place should have thought a little more about the people who have to live here.
I think there might be a reason behind the open plan layout. A standard barred window. No sign of it having been tampered with. I don't think there's any chance our killer escaped from here.
Must remember to bring something to saw through iron bars with. As they say, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Glad I got the chance to scope this place out.
Okay, we're investigating a crime scene, not preparing for your eventual escape.
Hey look, this newspaper's got a chunk of it missing.
You're right, a few of its pages have been roughly torn out. But why?
Maybe Mr. Knight wanted to clean his cell but didn't have a cleaning cloth?
Not a totally implausible theory, I suppose. But why would... Who would try to clean their cell? This bed doesn't look very comfortable. But that pillow cover is very clean. Spotless, in fact.
I bet this is the kind of bed Gummy sleeps in. I just picture it, can't you?
No. I sense he's more of a mattress on the floor type. There's something different about this spot. Here.
This part of the floor is weirdly clean. Did somebody wipe it down or something?
Why would somebody only do the part right next to the bed, though? This must be Knight's suit jacket.
I've been doing some research on my own.
Oh, and what have you discovered?
I discovered that guys who look good in suits tend to be popular with the ladies. But don't worry. Guys with frilly neck ruffles are next on my research list.
Please stop.
Fine.
This part of the floor has been wiped clean.
Maybe he spilled some grape juice?
Who knows, but we can certainly imagine what he used to do the wiping. The torn-out pages of that newspaper.
Why wouldn't he just ask a guard for a cloth or something rough? Something though.
Perhaps he didn't want anyone to see what he was wiping up. I think we've about exhausted this cell. We made significant progress by establishing a connection between Mr. Canis and the victim.
This is bad, sir.
Is that the guard?
The security camera footage, sir. I watched it and...
What is it? Can you show it to us?
Yes, sir. I have a small playback monitor with me.
Then what are you waiting for? Let's see it. What's that?
That black thing. It's that dog, right?
Till now, our assumption was that the crime had taken place inside the prison proper. And it seems that assumption may have been wrong. Knight had actually been attacked in this location.
Holding cell.
Take that!
Right here in the detention center. And the perpetrator was indeed Mr. Canis's dog. This is just the evidence we need. And if this is where Knight was actually murdered, then one of the pieces of evidence we found here in this cell takes on a whole new meaning. Knight's cell was the crime scene. Which piece of evidence takes on new significance?
Take that!
The floor of Knight's cell was wiped clean, presumably to remove something. Could that something have been his blood? Thank you, officer. Would you mind doing me one more favor?
Aim it, sir.
There's a detective by the name of Gumshoe somewhere in this facility. I need you to give him a message. Tell him to have this cell tested for traces of blood, and to report the results to Edgeworth.
Yeah, you got it, sir. Now we can really go after that Canis guy, right, Mr. Edgeworth?
No, not yet. We still don't know how Knight and the dog moved between his cell and the prison proper.
Right, so that's what we need to figure out next. What's the play, coach? Where are we off to?
I suspect one of the guards might know something. We should ask those posted nearby and see what they have to tell us. Hello, Star. I only just noticed.
Okay, time to get asking, huh?
Thanks for the tour. Later. Well, Mr. Prosecutor and his little friend. I didn't expect to run into you here. Must be my lucky day. This is Agent Shilong Lang of Interpol. He was in charge of a case I worked on 2 weeks back. I thought he had gone home to Zhangfa after that, but here he is. You had some business to take care of, I take it, Agent Lang? You could say that. Nothing that need concern you, though.
First a black hound, now a wolf all in black. Hey, wait. Why are you all alone today?
That's true. He's usually accompanied by an army of police officers. I hear you were at it again a couple of days back, sticking your nose into things. A couple of days back. Ah, he means the incident with the president of Zhangfa. Actually, I had thought you might be there as well. heading up the security detail. Our president doesn't have much faith in the efficiency of his own country's police force. Maybe now he'll think twice before using contractors again. Amateurs. Agent Lang doesn't have much faith in prosecutors or the courts to do their job right. Which is why he's so meticulous about investigating with his hand-picked cream of the crop officers. Indeed, no doubt things would have turned out differently had you and your men been in charge. My men, yeah, those guys aren't around anymore. What? They're not? It's funny, isn't it? I'm a real lone wolf now. What are you saying, Agent Lang? What on earth happened? I told you, it doesn't concern you. See you around, Mr. Prosecutor.
Well, he seemed not okay.
Yes, I would very much like to know why, but there's nothing we can do about it right now. Don't worry about Agent Lang later. We have an investigation to conduct.
Alright, let's start by talking to these guards.
Man, I'm in so much trouble. What's the matter? You seem perturbed. Oh, well, we see one of my uniforms is missing. I sworn it was right here in my locker.
Did it grow a pair of legs and run off somewhere?
Where in the world did that idea spring from?
Anyway, I hope you track it down soon. I'll be rooting for you.
Thanks, I appreciate it. It's the door to the observation room.
Observation room, you mean? Are they always watching us? Or maybe they're just watching you and laughing at all the weird stuff you do.
Weird stuff? I'm a perfectly normal person who does only perfectly normal things, I'll have you know. It's a security gate that can detect metal objects.
Am I the only one who gets a little nervous when I have to go through one of these? It's the same whenever I see a cop. I know I've done nothing wrong, but I still get anxious.
Maybe because you go around calling yourself a great thief, hmm? I was wondering, have you seen an enormous black dog wandering around here recently? That thing? Oh wait, well, let's just say I'd be a lot more nervous about standing guard here.
So, do you and this dog have some kind of history or something?
Now, Kay, you should know when to let sleeping dogs lie. And the sound of it, Callus's dog hasn't been spotted on this side of those heavy security doors. Hey, are those my faithful assistants I see before me? And where exactly have you been? Where have I been? I've been looking for you two. Been searching high and low. Wandering lonely through the prison halls. It was terrible, I tell you.
The prison's over there on the other side of the facility, boss.
So, listen, I just got the lowdown on some seriously dynamite material. You want to hear it, right? Seamless. I was chatting with a few of the guards and they told me something interesting. Turns out, the broadcaster had himself a little incident 2 days ago. Pre-mortem, if you catch my drift. An incident? Simeon told you he came to visit his pal, right? Well, it happened right after they had wrapped up, when Bronco was being escorted back to his cell. It was just one guard and he was handcuffed off. He made it back and the guard was taking off his cuffs when the broadcaster clobbered him, knocked the poor guy out cold. Sounds like it might have been the prelude to a jailbreak. because when the other guards showed up, they couldn't find their comrade's keys. Were there any rumblings about Knight attempting an escape? That's the bit that fries the old noggin. There were none. He just sat in his cell and turned up dead. And what's more, he swore right to the end that he never stole the key. He turned his cell inside out too, but no dice. The guard who was struck, what did he have to say? Nothing. Poor guy was still out when they took him to the hospital. Word is he's still there. So there's nobody around to tell us what really happened.
What the? You losers.
That's all we need.
Why are you still hanging around here like a bad smell?
Hey there, little buddy. Listen, Miles here is working with me now as an associate.
Nonsense. You're all just here to cause trouble and turn my investigation into a fart. Eustace means farce. Of course, a simple slip of the tongue.
Seemed like a reasonably apt choice of words to me. Judge Gavel, great to see you again.
I know who you are. You are Simeon Saint's attorney.
Guilty as charged. Now that we've broken the ice, how about a friendly... Or not, I'm totally cool either way.
Now, did I hear you correctly? That Mr. Edgeworth has joined the defense team? Yep, and me too. We're officially employees of Edgeworth & Co. But a prosecutor is a public servant. You would draw your sword on the goddess to work for personal gain.
It's not a problem if I'm not getting paid, though, correct? Exactly what he said. Miles here's just a volunteer. We're all about the pro bono stuff over at Edgeworth & Co.
How wonderful. So you all work without reward. The goddess would surely approve.
Yeah, I'm a regular philanthropist. Judge Gavel, I was hoping to ask about the grounds for Simeon Saint's arrest.
That information is on a need. Is that a challenge I hear?
No, I was just asking Judge Gavel.
I'm always ready for a little verbal combat, to show you what it takes to be a real winner.
How is it verbal combat if you won't let me speak? Still, this could prove useful. Fine, we'll do as you suggest. Now if you could begin by telling us why Mr. Saint was arrested.
There will be no need for that. There will be no need for that. Eustace, we should... Not now, Gavel. Watch and wonder. As I put this pathetic prosecutor in his place, he's going to run rings around me.
You ain't wrong. I think you meant to say that you would be the one running rings around me.
And I will! So badly that your ears will be ringing. Prepare to be humbled, Edgeworth. You want to know why I arrested that man? It's simple, simple! I found evidence. Evidence of him all over that thing. How's that for some winningly incontrovertible, conclusive proof? Who saw the truth first? Why, me, of course. Winner by name, winner by nature.
Where do I even begin?
Look at you, utterly lost for words in the face of such mastery. I'll take your silence as yet another win.
Honestly, does he ever shut up? You said that you were the one who arrested Mr. Saint. But do you even have the authority to do so, Mr. Winner?
Well, obviously, it was the police who actually arrested him. But I told them to do it, so I think I can claim the credit, don't you?
Of course, that's what he meant. This is clearly going to take a while. A shame, really. Given that I'm much more interested in what Judge Gavel is silently thinking over there.
Hold it!
I'm just checking, but you do know who it was you arrested, correct?
Is this some kind of joke? Of course I know who I arrested. It was Simeon Saint.
Good to know he remembers that much at least.
Hold it!
Rock solid, you say? I'm impressed.
Hold on. I know what you're doing here. You're trying to butter me up. And it might work on the chumps you meet in court, but it won't work on me. The evidence we found is certainly rather damning for Mr. Saint. Perhaps you should tell Mr. Edgeworth about it, Eustace. Damning is right, and it was on the strength of that evidence that I decided to arrest him. God, I hate this little...
Hold it!
Evidence of him was all over that thing. Could you be a little more specific, Mr. Winner?
Do I really have to spell it out for you, Edgeworth? I'd hope that even you could put two and two together.
Stop messing around. The onus is on you to provide a comprehensible testimony.
Come now, Eustace. I'm sure Mr. Edgeworth and his friends would be very interested to learn how you cracked the case. They certainly looked keen to hear about it. Fine, if you insist, I'll fill in the gaps. Brace yourself, because this is going to blow your tiny little minds. I bet you didn't even know, but the victim had, wait for it, a chess set with him. And that chess set was covered in the fingerprints of a certain Mr. Simeon Saint. Praise be to the goddess of justice for the insight she offers, and congratulations once again, Eustace. You would not object to Eustace amending his testimony, I trust, Mr. Edgeworth?
No, by all means, please do.
Mr. Saint's fingerprints were right there, all over the victim's chess set.
Hold it!
But you weren't the one who actually found his prints, were you?
Of course not. I'm a prosecutor. I leave the dirty work to forensics.
The fingerprints are certainly a problem. But then that chess set was. I should take another look at the evidence.
Hold it!
The only incontrovertible fact here is that you don't know how to give a proper testimony.
What are you talking about? Not my fault if you can't keep up. Perhaps I could be so bold as to offer some additional details. The only fingerprints found at the scene belong to the guards, the prisoners, the victim, and Mr. Saint. I think you'll agree that Mr. Saint's were the only prints that had no business being there. Yes, exactly. Now do you get it, Edgeworth?
I do, but I'm not so sure about you.
God, this keeps changing. There were other prints belonging to the victim and the guards, so only Mr. Saint's were out of place.
Hold it!
If there were other prints at the crime scene, shouldn't those people be suspects too?
Other people? I don't think so.
And why not?
Had Mr. Saint's prints not been found on the chess set, those others would indeed have been suspects. Yet somehow his prints were there, despite the fact that they had no business being there. Exactly, which means Mr. Saint was, Saint is... He is neither a prisoner nor a guard, therefore he should not have been able to enter the prison. Finding his prints in a place he shouldn't have had access to is grounds enough for an arrest, no? Yeah, what she said. Not bad, Gavel. You are too kind.
Hold it!
You saw it first, and I suppose you can prove that.
I made the connection the moment I saw the crime scene. It was a lightning-fast deductive leap. What more evidence do you need?
Well, you haven't given me any evidence at all so far, so...
You still don't get it, do you? Well, don't worry. We can't all be born winners.
I'm not sure I even want to get whatever it is he is talking about. Oh, and look, a Steam achievement for pressing every single one of his bloody statements. Imagine considering how insufferable he is.
Objection!
So, the fingerprints on the chess set are the ace up your sleeve.
The what up my what? Oh, yes. The chest set up the ace's sleeve. That's right, that's right, Edgeworth. I've got a winning hand as usual.
Only your winning hand is a busted flush. For you see, it was Simeon Saint who brought that chess set to the victim in the first place. Therefore, it's only natural that his fingerprints are all over it. That took a while to sink in. In conclusion, those fingerprints aren't proof of anything, and Mr. Saint's arrest was premature.
Premature?
The incident took place here, within the walls of this facility. And being neither a guard nor a prisoner, it makes very little sense to suspect Mr. Saint.
Oh!
Now what?
I think you might be the premature one here, Edgeworth. And to think you were the one accusing me of being hasty.
Did he only just work out what that word means?
Sure, I identified Mr. Saint as a suspect faster than pretty much anybody else. And I won the race when it came to picking out the crucial evidence, too. I'm quick on the draw, you see. But hasty? Not at all. You're right that Mr. Saint isn't a guard or a prisoner here, but he was...
Overruled!
Eustace.
Judge Gavel.
Flat out, Gavel. I have him right where I want him. Forgive me, Eustace, but if I may... Well, the particulars of the suspect are indeed fascinating. Don't we have something a little more impressive to share with the prosecutor? Something more impressive? If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Edgeworth. Eustace made an ingenious deduction concerning the murder weapon. Perhaps you would like to hear it. Yes, of course that. Well remembered, Gavel. Listen to this, Edgeworth, and prepare to be amazed.
Objection!
Will this ingenious deduction explain why Mr. Saint was arrested?
Let's just say you won't be disappointed.
Judge Gavel deliberately diverted the conversation away from my line of questioning. What exactly is she up to?
Fact 1. The murder weapon was some sort of metal blade. Fact 2. Potentially deadly blades are strictly controlled within the prison walls, as we both know. From these two facts, I concluded that the weapon in question must have come from outside. It must have been hidden inside the chess set. That's what I think anyway. And since the only prints we found on the chess set belonged to the victim and the suspect, I'd say it's blindingly obvious who brought the weapon in and used it, wouldn't you?
If nothing else, his testimony this time is a little more comprehensible than the last.
Another winning deduction brought to you by one winner Eustace, Prosecutor extraordinaire.
More like winner useless prosecutor extraordinaire, if you ask me.
But how could anyone even hide a weapon inside that chest set? Good question. Why don't you take a look for yourself?
Inside the chessboard? I suppose there's only one way to find out. There's nothing in here but chess pieces.
That laugh is really something.
He seems pretty convinced that the weapon was hidden in there somehow. I better take a closer look. What? The stiff lining at the top opens like a flap door.
Wow, there's plenty of room in there.
Indeed, more than enough to hide something like a small knife.
Ingenious, no. The killer struck the weapon. The killer snuck the weapon in by. Huh? What do you mean, huh? Let me finish with you.
I fear you've not been listening, Mr. Winner, or perhaps you've simply forgotten. The detention center is outfitted with a security gate.
Huh? I mean, yeah, and the security gate also acts as a metal detector, Eustace. We must pass through another one on our way into the prison itself, remember? Yes, that's right. Of course I remember.
He definitely didn't. It would have been impossible to smuggle a metal blade through such a gate and into the facility, which would seem to blow a rather large hole in your reasoning, Mr. Winner.
That gate is only used to scan people. Any items they bring into the facility are only subjected to a cursory check.
Are you telling me that the chess set wasn't put through the metal detector?
It should have been. Alas, it seems the guards have grown a little lax in that regard of late.
Bullshit.
Very good. Thank you, Gavel. It was my pleasure. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, if you would be so kind as to begin your cross-examination.
Cross-examination? Just like she's holding a trial. Well, no matter. Let's see how well this ingenious deduction of Mr. Winner's holds up, shall we? A metal blade, you say? And do you have any evidence to support this?
You mean you didn't even look at the victim's injuries? Why am I not surprised, you third-rate? The fatal blow was a stab wound to the neck, and it was delivered by a knife-like blade. That much is absolutely beyond doubt.
It appears that they are not yet aware of a certain other piece of information.
Lost for words, are we? Then I'll just keep going. My brilliant deductions don't end there, you know.
Hold it!
The fact that such objects are strictly controlled doesn't mean they're actually forbidden.
Well, no. I mean, some of the prisoners used scissors to cut the animal's hair, and that avenue of inquiry was conscientiously. I have never heard that word before. And that avenue of inquiry was conscientiously pursued, as you no doubt recall, Eustace. Yes, only one bladed object has been signed out by a single prisoner at the time of the incident. The item was tested for traces of blood, but none were found.
I suppose he was referring to the scissors Mr. Sawyer was using.
So there's no way the blade in question came from inside the prison.
Hold it!
Outside? What does that mean exactly?
The opposite of inside, you numbskull.
Was that an attempt at clarification or a put down? Because it clearly accomplished neither.
What Eustace means to say is that it must have been brought in from outside the prison by Mr. Saint. Honestly, Edgeworth, if you haven't figured that out by now, then you're an even bigger loser than I thought.
The feeling is mutual, believe me.
Mr. Saint clearly brought the murder weapon into the prison. The question is how.
Hold it!
But no murder weapon was found at the crime scene, and there's nothing inside the chessboard either. I'm curious, Mr. Winner, do you also have thoughts about where this weapon might be?
Well, the perpetrator must have hidden it somewhere in the prison.
Is there a problem with this claim? They hid it somewhere inside the prison? That seems unlikely. In fact, I can prove that's not the case. What evidence suggests that the murder weapon isn't hidden somewhere in the prison? Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Take that! Overruled!
Fucking no, I don't want to fucking say before I try anything, but whatever. Really? I have something that proves it, do I? Okay, apparently I've got something. I don't know what the fuck it is though. All the proof you need. So just the murder weapon in the prison. Apparently I do have something. It is. Fucking no. Oh, prison search.
Take that!
What am I thinking? Ugh. I'm starting to worry about your memory, Mr. Winner. Didn't you and the good judge search the prison with Warden Lagarde? And didn't you fail to find a likely murder weapon?
Well, yes, but I guess we just missed it. That's all. Wow, way to undermine yourself.
You're saying your search wasn't entirely thorough. You, the so-called winning rookie.
Stop making fun of me. Eustace. Calm yourself. Breathe deeply. Do not allow your opponent to get under your skin. You're right. I'm a winner. Why should I let a third-rate loser like Edgeworthless get under my skin?
I'll thank you to leave my name out of this.
Well, I'm Kay Faraday, and I'm A-OK.
Not you two, please.
Look, it's simple. Since my first-rate investigation didn't turn up any weapon, it means there wasn't one to find. Which leaves only one possibility. The murderer took the weapon with him when he left the prison. That's why we couldn't find it when we looked, obviously.
Objection!
But what you are proposing is impossible. And this proves why the culprit couldn't possibly have taken the weapon out of the prison with them.
You ready again this time?
Take that!
More memory trouble, Mr. Winner? Now you're forgetting things you yourself said.
Are you making fun of me? Again?
Oh, so you remember what I said. But perhaps you might have been better served by remembering this.
What's that? Wait, does he seriously not remember?
It would certainly seem that way. There is a security gate at each of the entrances to the detention center and the prison proper. Coming from the prison, anyone leaving the facility would have had to pass through both of them. 2 gates, both fitted with metal detectors.
Oh, wait, now I remember. Looks like he got his memory back.
So as you can see, there is no way anyone could have taken a weapon out through both gates. And therefore, there is no way the murder weapon could have left the building.
In which case, Mr. Edgeworth, perhaps you would care to tell us where you think the murder weapon might be?
It is still here on the premises. That is the only plausible conclusion to be drawn.
We searched the prison from top to bottom and couldn't find anything.
Because you were never going to find anything to begin with. Not when you were laboring under the misconception that it's a blade you're looking for.
Yeah, we know the truth about what happened to Mr. Knight. We've seen it with our own eyes. That is quite a claim. I assume you have the evidence to support it. What is the weapon that was used to commit the crime?
Take a look at this, Judge Gavel, and the weapon used in this case will become clear.
Tape?
Take that!
This is footage taken from a security camera, trained on Knight's holding cell. Now watch it for yourself and see.
What? That's... But how?
This footage captures the moment the victim was attacked by a black dog. More than sufficient proof of how he really died, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it is certainly significant.
So now we know that Knight was in fact killed in his cell by a vicious dog. A dog that moved the victim's body to the prison workshop post-mortem. We know this thanks to an eyewitness who saw the dog in the workshop when the body was discovered. Of course, I think we can all agree that there is no way the dog could have planned such a crime itself. Indeed, I fear it may have been his handiwork after all.
Overruled!
That's quite enough of that, Mr. Edgeworth.
Judge Gavel.
You are correct that this footage is an important piece of evidence. But it also raises an important new question. A question that I suspect you have also been asking yourself.
He's right. There is one major problem with my version of events.
The black dog. The one that belongs to one of the inmates. How did it move between the holding cells and the prison proper at will?
Oh!
How did we answer that one, Mr. Edgeworth?
The truth is, I don't know yet.
Of course not. Can it, Wonderboy? You didn't even notice there was a problem. Until the defense provides an adequate explanation, the court cannot accept your line of logic. That is all. This court is adjourned.
But wait, there's still so much more to explore.
Court is no longer in session, Mr. Edgeworth. If you would be so kind as to leave the courtroom.
Court was never in session in the first place.
Once again, this court is adjourned.
Objection!
We may not have all the answers yet, but you haven't explained anything either regarding Mr. Saint.
What do you mean?
Just as we don't know how the dog made it into one of the detention center's holding cells, you can't know how Mr. Saint could have made it inside the detention center, let alone the prison either. He would have been allowed as far as the visitor's room to see his friend, but no further. So it's hard for me to conceive how he could have committed a crime in a place he had no access to. Judge Gavel, I believe it's your turn to provide some proof. Proof that Simeon Saint was able to enter the prison.
You wish for the court to provide you with proof. Highly irregular, but very well.
What? They actually have something?
Now seems like as good a time as any. And I suppose you have been kind enough to share your own theories on the case.
What's she building up to here?
Mr. Edgeworth, I suspect you don't know what Mr. Saint does for a living, so allow me to fill you in. He is a circus performer.
A what?
Yes. Perhaps you've heard of Big Berry Circus.
The...
Oh, don't be silly, darling. Of course I was. Yesterday was a very important day after all.
Important in what way exactly? A big meeting of some kind, perhaps?
I mean, oh heavens no. Couldn't think of anything worse. No, yesterday the circus came to visit. You see it now, I assume. As I am sure you are aware, a show was held yesterday for the prisoners' entertainment. A show featuring animals and performers, performed by members of the Big Berry Circus. So, does that mean Mr. Saint? Yes, Mr. Saint was allowed inside the prison as a part of that show. A fact that has been confirmed beyond reasonable doubt.
You! She held on to that fact until the last possible moment. She let me run my own theory, and only afterwards did she use it to reveal the truth. Wait.
But out, Gavel. I have him right where I want him. Forgive me, Eustace, but if I may... Well, the particulars of the suspect are indeed fascinating. Don't we have something a little more impressive to share with the prosecutor?
This must be why she steered him onto a different topic back then, too.
I got you good, didn't I, you third-rate prosecutor?
This has nothing to do with you.
Gentlemen, this court is well and truly adjourned. If I may offer a word of advice, Mr. Edgeworth. Your conduct as a prosecutor is already in question. You would do well to remember that you were removed from this case for that precise reason.
What are you trying to say?
That the committee reserves the rights to confiscate your badge at any time. Should you wish to retain it, you would do well to avoid crossing paths with us again.
Is that a threat?
The goddess of justice is compassionate, Mr. Edgeworth, but she is not endlessly forgiving. Oh, and one last thing. You are no defense attorney. Abandon this foolish pretense.
Thank you for your concern. But I do not abandon anything. What I start, I finish.
Well, do you try to remember that the two jobs are not one and the same? and that a defense attorney is expected to develop something of a bond with their client. Next time, finding out your client's real occupation might be a good place to start. Now I really must be going. May the goddess of justice watch over you all. So, Simeon lied to us.
Not just you two. Guy took me for a ride too. What's his deal? Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're not having second thoughts about all this, are you, Milesy boy? Sure, Judge Gavel is a tough cookie. That doesn't mean you can just give up the ghost. The defense never rests, as a wise man once said. And that goes for associates too. Don't worry, Fender. I have no intention of resting. Nevertheless, our assumption that Mr. Saint could have entered the prison has been proven false. Which means we'll need to restart our investigation from square one, I'm afraid.
Oh, thank you for the to be continued. Ugh. Right, I'm gonna need to stop here for now, because my voice is starting to go again. And that said, it's getting better than it was the last couple of days after this amount of time, so that's much better. I'll get strong enough to do longer streams before too long. But anyway, that will be all for now, though. Bye.